In this lesson, we're going to get started using the Firefox Web Developer tools to look at our style sheet for our child theme. We're going to see how we can edit and preview our CSS changes right in our web browser with live content. And we're going to learn how to preview our website for different browser sizes. Let's take a look. We're in our WordPress dashboard. We're looking at the appearance menu of themes. We've already loaded our child theme. What we're going to do is take a look at the editor. One way that you can edit the CSS for your child theme is to actually go into the editor within WordPress and change it right there. So if you want to do a quick change, say you want to change a color, something like that, you can go into this code. It's not a very good view though. I'm sure there's plugins that give you a little bit of a better view in here with text coloring and things like that, but for our purposes, we're just going to use the built-in Firefox Web Developer tools. So we take a look at this. We're going to go into our site, and we are going to there are two ways to access the developer tools. There's the Tools menu up here. You're going to pull down, and you have Web Developer. For our purposes today, we're going to use the Inspector, the Style Editor, and the Responsive Design View. You can access it in the Tools menu. You can also access it on this small menu icon here, Developer Tools. We're going to go right into the Inspector. So the Inspector opens up on the bottom of our browser. I'm going to go through this a little bit slowly. I can roll over, when I roll over the site, what it's doing is it's inspecting the site and telling me what each element is and how it's nested. So if I go and take a look at my site description, we see that it's an H2 class site description. And you see that little orange area at the top and bottom of the margins. I can click on that, and you'll see on the bottom what it's doing is it's highlighting the HTML where that site description is, and it's also giving me the CSS rules that are here. Starting at the bottom are the it nests from bottom to top, so that the highest priority are the ones at the top of this list. So you can see we have font weight, font size, all within our site description. You can see that this is the nesting. We have site descriptions within H group, which is our header masthead, site header, and our page. So these are the divs that are set up for the sections of our page. What we're going to do is we're going to look at the style editor. So we've looked at the inspector. We see the HTML on the left side and the CSS on the right. We're going to go to the style editor, and we're going to see all of our CSS code. I'm going to put this on the right side so that we can see both the site on the left side and the CSS on the right. So here we have, if we go back to the, let's clear this out. We're looking at style.css. So this is all the styles that are applying to the site. We're using style.css, so I'm going to click on that. We can see here we have our 2012 skate CSS file. If I go back to the inspector, what we were looking at again, remember we were looking at the H2, which is this subheader here. I'm going to click the highlight pick element, and I'm going to click on it. You can see it's highlighted here, and it's showing me that within the code on line 568 is where the site editor styling is, all the rules that apply to it. So if I click on that, it'll jump right to my style editor, and it'll jump right to that bit of code. So you can see that if I want, I can change it from normal to strong. And if you see on the left side, you can see that with the live content, it actually filled it in as strong. If I wanted to make the color black, I could go into color. I could go 000, and it would change from gray to black. Let's say I wanted to make it a lighter gray. Let's say I do 999. It'll give me a lighter gray. So you can see what it's doing is it's taking the live content and it's testing it and it's changing it locally. Now if I want to save that, I can either find I can either copy this area of the code that I've edited, go back into WordPress, find that block of code, and exchange it. Or what I could do is I could just copy and paste this entire piece, this entire sheet, copy it, and paste it into here, and hit Update File. Or there's a third option, and this is actually probably a better option because it allows you to save as you're going different versions, is you can see right here where it says style.css that I have a save button. So if I click save, I can place this style.css within my 2012 skate folder on my local server, on my local files. So I can see what I did with the original one that we had done in the previous lesson is I just changed the name to old so that I can remember that the new one is the one that I'm editing. So I'm going to just save as style.css. I'm going to hit save, and it's going to save that locally. And when I go back into my FTP, I can actually take that file and just drag it and drop it right into my WordPress content, themes, and my child theme folder. So I can just take that, and any of the changes that I made will take place now on the live site. So while I was working within Firefox Web Developer tools, I can preview it. Then what I can do is then I can take that and place it on the site, and it will be live, which is a great tool to allow you to actually deal with live database content and be able to preview it. Now the other thing we're going to look at within the Web Developer tools is the responsive design view. Now I'm going to go to responsive design view. I'm going to close my style editor just so that we can concentrate here on the responsive design. So sometimes what you could do to preview how your site is going to look on different web browsers is to actually just take your window and resize it. Much better practice is to use this responsive design view because it lets you get precise dimensions for it, and it also lets you, since we're working within the web developer tools, it allows us to actually change it without having to mess around with the browser. So for example, I have here it's set for 320 by 480. This just shows us what it's going to look like on a smaller device, probably like a iPhone 4. You can see that what it's doing is it's making everything narrower, it's placing everything within the menu. If I go to, let's say, 980 by 1280, you can see it's a much wider view. Now I have a right column. We're going to review some of the elements of the 2012 theme and how it works to responsive in another lesson, but for this lesson we can see within Firefox Developer Tools that we have the ability to preview for different browser sizes, and we can see how the breakpoints work within those. So in this lesson we learned how to use some of the web developer tools that are built into Firefox. We can go in and edit our code using the live editor, and we can figure out where the code that we want to edit is within the site inspector. And our next lesson we're going to give an overview of the 2012 theme and see what kind of work it does so that we can develop our child theme.